Hayao Miyazaki's Princess Mononoke. So in this video, I'm gonna come clean about something kind of embarrassing, I guess. So I first started watching Ghibli films like in 2020. I think it was during lockdown. Is when I finally took the plunge, and because as a film guy, you hear about a lot of films, and some interest you, some don't. And I've been an anime fan. I've been a casual fan for most of my life, but more recently, since like in 2018 ish, I became like a big fan. So, and I started watching more films, especially. So, when I kept hearing about Spirited Away and Studio Ghibli, whatever, I felt like I needed to get there eventually. And I started off with Spirited Away and My Neighbor Totoro. I love them both. And it took a while, but when I eventually got to Princess Mononoke, I thought it was overhyped. I thought it was overrated 100%. And I just felt like, well, that sucks, but whatever. Like, I don't have to love them all. And as time went on, I just realized how much praise this movie has. For sure, Spirited Away is like the most highly praised, and Howl's Moving Castle is like the most popular, but Princess Mononoke still gets a lot of praise. And I just always felt like it was a little overrated, and I just didn't care. I just felt kind of bored, and I still appreciated it, but frankly, bored. And then I started going to the Ghibli Fest every year, and I would watch that movie, and again, didn't care for it. And then a friend of mine, big Ghibli fan as well, and she feels exactly the same way. So we kind of bonded on that. Like jokingly hated on Princess Mononoke a little bit. And I remember last year when I saw it at the Ghibli Fest, I thought, hey, this is better than I remember. But I still felt like a little tired. And I'm not one that falls asleep in movies at all. But maybe I was just relaxed, because Ghibli films tend to relax me a lot. They're like my comfort film. So maybe it was that. This year, 5 days ago, when I saw it in theaters, completely blew me away. Completely 360 mindset, and I really loved it. And I just felt like my brain was open. Like I was just seeing this whole new perspective, and I was understanding things more, and it was just so strange, because I've seen it multiple times. It's not like a movie I saw once. Yeah, I just really loved it. Something I will say, I've always loved the music. I've always loved it. I feel like it has the most versatile score for most Ghibli films. It doesn't just have one or two nice themes. It has a lot and really epic. And this was the first time I saw this movie as a really epic adventure, like almost like on the level of Lord of the Rings. And then after, when I was talking to my friend, it clicked to me. I think I understand why I never cared for this movie so much. And it's very much a me thing. It's very much a personal thing. And yeah, so I just thought I'd share this little epiphany and come clean about, me having the wrong opinion. Subjective, right? I guess. But me having a weird, controversial opinion for so many years. I think that a lot of people will agree with this, I know, but I think my personal relationship with Ghibli films is very specific. It's comfort. It's the cozy vibes. I just feel like when I put on a Ghibli film, I know I'm gonna get something specific. And I think every single movie is different. They're not all the same. They're not cookie cutter. But I know I'm gonna get a specific Miyazaki flavor. I'm gonna get appreciation of nature. I'm going to get great visuals of nature. I'm going to get hills and wind and blue skies and greens. And I know I'm going to get great music and just like a wholesomeness that you could only find in Ghibli films. You don't see that in movies in the United States at all. It's very specific to Miyazaki. I love it. I realize that this movie is much more mature. It's exploring really deep concepts of gods, of human nature. It reminds me a lot of Naruto now. It's just crazy, because I had seen Naruto when I saw this movie back then. It's just weird that I'm barely coming around. I'm usually not like this, which is why it's such a big deal for me. But it reminds me of Naruto and like Pain and Madara. how a big, and Obito, a big like philosophy all those villains have. They're always talking about the fact that there's like a chain of hatred that is part of human, about the human condition, and that if you try to do good, it's subjective. Good is subjective, and no matter what, you're feeding into this cycle. And this film kind of explores that a little bit. Obviously, the big theme is nature. It's god. It's a gods versus humans, and like the Industrial Revolution, a lot like Lord of the Rings. A lot of what Tolkien was talking about in Lord of the Rings, and how. Anyways, I could keep rambling. I don't want to turn this into a comparison of Tolkien and Miyazaki. Yeah, so I just realized all these themes are present in other Ghibli films. But I feel like in this one, he's really exploring it. He's really taking his time with it. It's like a full-on journey with an arc, and you just get different sides of the story. And what's his name? Ashitaka. That's the protagonist, I believe. His name. He says many times he's trying to look at this unclouded, so that he may try to judge how he's gonna go about his cursed arm. And just again, I don't know why, but I understood this film so much more this time around. I loved it. It moved me in many ways, and it's just a crazy experience that doesn't happen to me very often, especially when I've seen a movie many times and years ago. And yeah, I'm not gonna act or even say that this is my new favorite film of Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli. For sure, I appreciate it way more. I see it very much for what it is, and I mean, I've wasted years not appreciating it. But yeah, I'm glad I finally came around. I'm glad I finally got through to this, whatever the hell this is. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to go on a deep dive of this film too much, because there's a lot operating on this. There's a lot of things operating here. Something that never really struck me was the Eboshi, the female lord of that village of the ironworks. How I feel like they're painting a very specific portrait of this village and the hierarchy of men and women, and how these women aren't respecting it and they're defying it, and how they're so flagrant with the way they speak and disrespectful. And I felt like he was trying to paint that portrait of when things are out of balance in here. And but he also doesn't portray her and the village as evil, which I love. Very empathetic and objective point of view of the gods, the men, like the samurai and an Eboshi's tribe, and yeah, Princess Mononoke, her situation with the wolves. Like I said, a lot is going on here, and it's just crazy, and I loved it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this film and your favorite Ghibli film. I'd be very curious to know.